Hey, this is Mr. Oberman. I'm in a social studies video. So anyways, so here's your assignment for today, Friday, December 11th. You have a video here to watch and some questions to answer. So this is what I would plan to do is I'm going to read you all the questions here and I'm going to give you 50-50 on these questions. So I would go through with me as I read them, answer the 50-50 and make your choice. Then I would, before I submit my Google form, after I've answered my 50-50 questions, I would take that, keep that open, and go back and see if I'm right by watching the video of the war in the South. And then I would submit my video or my answers. Okay? So that's what I would do. I would go through this with me as I read them, answer it with the 50-50, and then check my answers by going back and watching the video to see if I get those correct. Okay? So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's read these here real quick. I'll give you the 50-50 choices as you move forward. And we'll see here. So the British general that was in control of New York, I'm going to give you the choice of Henry Clinton or Benedict Arnold. So there's your two choices there for that one. Okay. Moving down. What was the following that was not true of the Morristown camp? Okay. Was it A, the conditions were not really as bad as Valley Forge, or that there was 26 snowstorms and 6 were actually blizzards? Which one's not true? Okay. Next one is, who was Joseph Plum? So, I mean, you can even Google that too. Who was Joseph Plum? Was he a British general, or was he a 15-year-old boy that joins the Continental Army? All right. Now remember, this is a video. You can pause me, you can rewind, whatever it needs to be done so you can get that answer. And then remember, when you get finished, don't submit it. Go back and watch the video that Ms. Durham has posted so that you can check your answers. Next ones are true and false, so I'll just read them. 4 years into the war, Charleston, South Carolina has seen much of the fighting. So is that true or false? 4 years into the war, did Charleston, South Carolina see a lot of the fighting? And then the next one here, true or false? Over in Britain, the war was seen as too costly and very unpopular. True or false? So what did the British people in Britain think about the Revolutionary War? Would they think it was too costly and unpopular? True or false? And 4 years into the war, Charleston, South Carolina has seen a lot of the fighting. True or false? The next one here is, what is the new strategy that the British undertake? Well, they wanted to do what? Did they try to get a foothold in North America, or did they want to attack Canada? So what was their new strategy? Remember, their old strategy was trying to cut the colonies off in the middle, but they failed to do that. The next one, what did the British believe about the southern colonies? What did they believe? Okay. Did they believe that the southern colonies were firmly controlled by the rebels, or firmly controlled by the United States or the Patriots, or did they believe that they were loyal and would see them as liberators? So did they think the southern colonies were going to be loyal to the British and that they were going to liberate them from the rebels? Okay. Next one here is just true or false. 1/3 of the British Army in America headed to Charleston, South Carolina in 1779. True or false? The next one. Why does George Washington not take his troops to Carolina? Why did he not take his troops to Carolina? Because they were snowed in at Morristown, New Jersey, or Washington does not see this as much of a threat. So if you know what's happening here with George Washington, remember, he is up in New Jersey. So why did he not take them all the way down to Carolina? Because he was snowed in, or he doesn't see the army in Carolina as much of a threat. All right, so down in Charleston, who was the American commander down there? Who was the American commander? Was it George Clinton or was it Benjamin Lincoln? He was the American commander. Okay. The next one here, which is not true of Charleston, South Carolina, that it had a population of 50,000, or that it was not surrounded by swamps and made it easy to defend. What was not true of Charleston, South Carolina? Not true at this time. Okay. Next couple ones are true or false. So it says, many see South Carolina as a reluctant revolutionaries, in part because they signed a Declaration of Independence after great pressure from other countries or colonies. True or false? So what that means is that they had to be pressured into signing it because they didn't want to sign it. They were reluctant to do it, and they thought that they could be easily persuaded. Is that true or false? Because they were reluctantly to sign. And true or false? The city of Charleston was defended by 1,500 slaves. All right, the next one here is how did Lincoln, so that helped answer one of the questions, who was the American general in Charleston? How did Lincoln prepare his troops for the British attack? Did he, let's see here, what did we say? Did Lincoln recruits women into the army to defend the city? Or did they work side by side to big trenches to slow the British attack or the British advance? So what did they do? Next one here is, what is a siege? So what is a siege? This is a methodical or strategic attack against a city, or a sneak attack against a formal army. Why did the slaves help the British army? Well, they said that they were going to be given their freedom if the British won, or the slaves stayed out of the conflict and did not take sides. So why did the slaves help the British army? Next one here, true or false? Most of the people that lived in South Carolina were slaves. True or false? The Continental soldiers arrived in Charleston after marching 505 miles in 30 days. The full force that was promised showed up in South Carolina. Was that true or false? 14 days into the siege, one escape route to the back country was cut off. True or false? So the back country was the part that was unsettled. So if you had South Carolina, this was like right here, and this was the ocean. South Carolina kind of stopped right here, and then this would be the back country. This was unsettled back here. Next one here. What is Banastre Tarleton known for? Was he known for all of this stuff above, being ruthless, fighting, knowing how to fight in the South, and also a cavalry man, a soldier, or none of the above? The next one there, Clinton was the British commander. What did he want from the American forces as peace talks began? He wanted all the soldiers to leave the city immediately, or total surrender. So what did the British guy Clinton want from the American forces in Charleston? All the soldiers to leave, or total surrender? How long did the siege of Charleston last? Was it 30 days or 41 days? So the next question says here that the victory in Charleston, so obviously the British won here, so Clinton won. What happened here? Was this a decisive victory in 3 years for the British? Were they getting their butts kicked for 3 years or had a good win? True or false? So Washington is still stuck in Morristown because it was snowing and all that stuff. What fact did this here? Was it A, was it still snowing, or was there 10 tornadoes? Why did Washington not get back to where they were at? And the last one, Washington was facing a mutiny of his army and has 8 soldiers executed for insubordination. That means they were going against him. True or false? Okay. So now that you've come to the end of this, don't submit it. Use the video now to check your answers, to make sure you've got it there, and then you can submit them. So there they are. I know you'll do the best job. See you later.